Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Catching Zeez. Today is a very special day because it is the first day on the podcast where we have not one, but two guests. We have RaceCar627 as well as Emmy joining us today. Pretty crazy. Hopefully it's going to be a good time. Now, RaceCar, how does it feel to be on the podcast for 2 consecutive weeks?
Well, Zeez, that's a great question, and to be honest with you, it feels fine. I don't know.
Wow, okay.
I actually like that I'm able to talk to you, like, quite a bit. It's cool.
We're breaking records out here, and you're just like, yeah, okay, man. Yeah, okay, man. Yeah, man. What about you, Emmy? How are you feeling?
Well, I haven't seen RaceCar in, like, forever, actually. I haven't actually talked to him outside of this, minus this podcast. I actually have not talked to RaceCar in probably months, right?
It's been like a month. It's been like a month. There's no way it's been
okay, a month. I'm sorry. I'm exaggerating. Emmy the drama queen.
Wow, it's funny because like I was talking to all of you, individually, so I kind of like assumed that you guys were also talking, but I kind of think about it. It's like I wonder if the little rookie has like talked to either of you recently, because like he'll come on eventually again for like a group podcast or something, but I don't know, just from like my perspective, I've been like reconnecting with you all out recently because of this podcast, which is really awesome.
I definitely have not talked to the little rookie. He's probably the person, I mean, even before this all, is probably one I've talked to the least. I don't know. I definitely, like, Emmy is someone I've honestly was keeping up more than with you for a while, Zeez.
For sure, yeah.
Just because, I don't know, you're so MIA with all the YouTube stuff. So...
and I see the little rookie pretty often, actually. We play D&D a lot, so I see him twice a week.
Yeah, and you guys used to be college roommates too, so
yeah,
definitely talk about that someday whenever he comes on and you're on at the same time.
Well, you know how he is about responding to Discord messages.
No, that's so true. He's pretty inconsistent with it. But anyway, I have a great...
I do have a funny story I can share one day about that.
I look forward to it. Today, though, I have a hilarious joke that I came up with that is probably much funnier in my head. But it's going to involve some guessing. So, guys, what does a cat say?
Meow?
Yeah. Meow.
I don't know. It says meow. All right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, okay, what does a cow say?
Oh?
Moo.
All right, good. What does a lizard say?
What?
It says, I am Mark Zuckerberg.
Sorry,
I literally thought about that in the shower last night. I was like, I'm going to say that on the podcast. That's going to be so funny.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Anyway, there's my bad joke out of the way. I don't know. I literally thought about that was in the shower last night. I was like, yeah, this will get him.
I should have said, hello, everyone.
How are you? Fine, thank you.
Thank you.
I wish I was a bird. All right, so we are actually recording this somewhat early on, at least for Emmy. So we gotta talk about the breakfast review.
The breakfast? Oh no, are we actually doing this? Zeez, I asked you not to do this. Why are you doing this?
Race man, come on.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with the breakfast review here. All right, first off, Zeez, I hope you pull up an image on the podcast here.
Oh, I will. I got you.
What we have here is we have an egg omelet. I don't even the internals there. What are those little brown things at the bottom? Is that like a mushroom?
Yeah, that's a mushroom.
Okay, that's awesome, man. I love mushrooms.
Sauteed mushrooms.
Sauteed.
It's a vegetarian breakfast. Yeah, I sauteed them first. So, otherwise, they wouldn't get cooked in time.
You got, is that hot sauce or ketchup? Probably hot sauce.
That's sriracha.
Oh, sriracha. Okay, so we got some hot sauce on there. You got some cheese in there. You got some sauteed mushrooms in there. So fancy.
So you didn't get to see my coffee, but I also made that coffee. I ground the beans.
We got a magic card in the back. We got a mouse you're also going to be eating. You're going to be eating you're also going to be eating part of a laptop. Oh, dude, this is crazy. All right. Well,
also the base of my mic. Oh, I do have a new mic. That's pretty awesome.
Hey,
yeah, everybody on the podcast has good audio. Finally.
Maybe.
And then right here we have, I think, what is that? Some spinach.
It's kale.
Spinach.
It's kale.
Have you met
Pretty
me?
sure it's cabbage. All right, so we got some cabbage, some, and then all that white stuff I believe is oatmeal. Yeah. I don't know. I think the cabbage and oatmeal don't go along too well on me. So I'm gonna.
It's actually grits. It's actually. Grits.
I thought it was. To be honest, I thought it was toothpaste. So.
Oh.
All right,
After
so you're gonna
try to like do the
negative points,
hybrid.
but that omelet sounds amazing, man. Just like the sautéed mushrooms. What are the mushrooms sautéed in?
Just oil.
Genius.
Beautiful. Gordon would be
It's
really
simple.
proud. Gordon would be proud. All right.
There's
Actually,
also
I'm gonna call him up right now.
Omelet.
Hold on, I'm gonna call up Gordon. Keep talking.
Alright, yeah,
I'm gonna
Gordon
call up
would
Gordon.
literally yell at me. This omelet is not that great.
No, I got him on speed dial. Hold on,
Hold on,
I'm calling up Gordon. Just give me a second.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, so we're gonna keep talking while Zeez contacts Mr. Gordon here, Mr. Ramsey. Sorry. That fork, I would recommend eating it in the other direction. So like when you use it, you flip it upside down because it doesn't really have as much of a scooping effect otherwise.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned the fork because this is actually the most ergonomic fork.
That's all Gordon had to say. I called him up. That's all he had to say.
Oh,
That's all he had to say.
no. Gordon's mad, dude. If you got the water,
That's all I had to say.
No.
I
just
told him
got
the whole story.
destroyed by
That's all I had
Mr.
to say.
Ramsey. I will
He
never
made the
cook
sound
an
with his
omelet
mouth.
again.
He made the sound with his mouth too. I could tell. We were FaceTiming. He just went "Wee-oo" with his
You
mouth.
picked up a FaceTime for like 10 seconds and went and then
Yeah.
just hung up.
Yep.
There's no context. On Zeez's side, it was just the image of the food. So when Gordon picked up and saw that, this is his reaction. He just hung up.
He
I will say that
knew.
fork-
He knew, dude.
That fork is very ergonomic. I spent a long time looking for that fork. Like, a lot of forks are not ergonomic, like, they're just square, and that's like... Actually, that's like the worst kind of fork, actually. And this rounded fork is actually the most ergonomic kind of fork, so...
when's the fork tier list?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I do need a
reviews
fork
when?
tier list.
Can you be like,
I need-
you know
I-
those like food review channels, man? Can you be like a utensil review channel?
I can add it along with my ramen tier list, my instant ramen tier list.
Fork tier list.
That's 2 tier lists he's gonna make now. You gotta get on that. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so now I want to do what all great content creators do. I want to basically do a review of a review
Okay.
or a reaction to a reaction. So yeah, I thought Raceman's review of Emmy's delicious meal was pretty good. I liked all the questions that he was asking. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, he was very curious. He definitely took us for, a bit of a plot twist there when he said he said when Emmy was gonna eat the mouse. Like that was such a funny joke. I actually really, really laughed at that. It made me want to subscribe to his YouTube channel. So I actually made an entire bot account just to subscribe again to his YouTube channel while we were talking. So yeah, I'll be tuning into more future reviews, and just know that, like, out of all the subscribers you have, I'm gonna guess like 8 of them are me.
Hey guys, Race Car here. I'm gonna have a review. I'm gonna review Zeez's review of my review here. Well, see, Zeez, very, very nice of you to say all those kind words. However, you were saying that you're using bot accounts to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That goes against the community guidelines of the YouTube system, man. You can't be putting bots out there. It forces the algorithm and fake perspectives, man. That's not really cool, dude. On top of that, I really didn't think the mouse joke was that funny. I think you're overreacting there. I think you're just playing it up to make me look cooler than I actually am. I don't really appreciate that. Now you're putting a really high expectation that I have really funny jokes for the rest of the podcast and the rest of the time. I'm not going to have funny jokes. The mouse joke wasn't that good. It was mediocre at best. That's all you're going to get from me. So let's just keep it at that, okay? Race car out.
Hey everyone, this is Emmy, and I'm reacting to RaceCar reacting to Zeez reacting into my picture of my breakfast. As you can see, I actually am eating my mouse, so it wasn't a joke. This is actually real tasty. What people don't know is that you can actually detach the sphere from the mouse, and it's really nice. Has a nice smooth texture. I like to put that into my my coffee. And you just mix it in with the omelets. You just I like to take the omelet that I have so nicely prepared, put it into a blender with my coffee, with the mouse ball, and I like to shake that all together and drink it. It's very nutritional, high in protein, a good way to start the day. And yeah, I ate it all already. I drank it. It was really thick. Loved it. Oh, so good. Now I just have kale and rice. I don't actually like kale and rice. I just made
oatmeal?
it.
Pretty sure that's
It's
cabbage
actually
and
just
oatmeal.
cabbage and it's lettuce and grits. Yeah.
I
Just
thought it was
plain
toothpaste,
grits.
bro. I thought it was toothpaste, bro. Oh my gosh. What do you say?
Iceberg lettuce,
What do you
and
say?
gravy.
When you were talking about like the ball part of the mouse, I was like, is that like the cherry on top?
Yeah, it's the cherry on top.
You know,
Oh
Emmy,
my
is it
god.
true
Nice
that
topping.
if you're in like grad school or you're into CS or electrical engineering, that you have to eat parts of computers to be like to understand them personally?
Well, that's how you like level up. You
Yeah,
see, because
okay.
like you're kind of absorbing their power. It's kind of like you're slowly fusing with them. You're becoming one with the machine.
It's like eating
It's like
a
every
book and
time I
getting the
eat
knowledge.
it, I see like a little number come up. Like I have like these HoloLenses I have to wear, and then a little number pops up above my head that shows me my CS level. And and whenever I eat a computer part, you see me gain like a few experience points. It gives like plus 300 for the entire mouse. I actually get like 250 EXP.
okay.
But if I eat the trackball itself, that's actually 200. So it's actually more efficient to just eat the trackball. That's the pro strats actually. I took like months to learn that strat. Only the upper echelon of computer scientists will ever learn this fact, is that you can just eat the trackball of the mouse.
What if you don't have a trackball? What are you supposed to do? Eat the laser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta deal with it. I mean, it's just how the world works.
How
Jeez.
does one eat a laser, Emmy?
You
Before
just
this bit goes on for too long.
you have to use quantum physics.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that
you
complex to eat something.
first you gotta run over to the physics department, and they'll be like, okay, you want to eat this laser? I'll show you how. But they won't tell us how because it's top secret. You just have to go over there. You have to spend 10 minutes of your day walking over there.
10 minutes?
Actually, 11.
Yeah, if it was gonna be 10 minutes, bro, that's 10 minutes. But like 11 minutes, you know, I could listen to 11 minutes of the Zeez podcast. You know?
All right.
I can only listen to 8 minutes of the Zeez podcast. On the
That's
8th
true.
minute and first second, I'd just die.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So we still get the extra ad revenue, you know?
Well,
you always gotta
see,
watch
I can
8
only
minutes.
do 6 seconds. I can only make it past.
Actually, it's already been. Actually, it's already been
6
14.
seconds if I have Subway Surfers on the bottom.
Yes.
Actually,
Gotta-
guys, it's
gotta
already been
Subway
like
Surfers,
around
bro.
14 minutes, so I have to leave now.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
But
Conversation's going too long.
I'm developing an allergic reaction.
To the podcast?
Yeah. My doctor said
Oh
to
my
avoid contact with the podcast. I need to social distance myself from this
Oh, okay.
podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm too much of an introvert. I think this has gone on for long enough.
Yeah, I think the bit's dead, dude. The bit is dead. Oh
Well-
gosh. So we have a few other topics that we could jump into. Does anybody want to take the lead, or should
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. So, well, okay, guys. So my first topic here today. Last episode, we talked about Skibidi Toilet. That was like a
gosh.
cool trend among trendy young people, right? I think that it's funny. It's source filmmaker, Gmod animation stuff. It's really cool. This one's actually bad. It's actually not good. This time I'm gonna be negative, guys. So there's recently been a trend on, apparently it's TikTok that they're doing live streams with this on. I don't know. I found out through this originally through Reddit, and then I saw like a YouTuber I follow called Suspense who does like comedy skits, make a video on it, and it's something called NPC Streamers. I think anyone that knows what they are just shuddered. They literally just shuddered when they heard me say that. But it's true.
They got the chills.
So what these streamers are essentially is it's like they play like they're an NPC from like, I guess you could say like The Sims or like I don't even know, like a virtual girlfriend game. I don't really know. But they have like an idle animation where like they're staring at the screen like all happy, like this is a real person doing this live, and then people will send them like emojis, for a reaction. So like they'll send them like a hot dog, or they'll send them like a cowboy. And then like the ultimate one's like the galaxy, and when you get a galaxy, like oh you get like this big freak out, you give them like oh I love you, but like so like they all have like you go send them a food emoji and they'll like pretend like they're eating it, or you'll send them like a weight and they'll pretend like they're working out, or you'll send them like get like the cowboy emoji and they'll pretend like they're riding a horse and like do a little like song and dance to it. They'll like change voices and do all this little thing, and they'll do it for like an hour, like hours straight sometimes, and then. It's just, if you look at videos of this, like, you literally will shudder and cringe. But I think they're popular because everyone makes fun of them. So they'll come on there to bash on them. And then some people end up liking it and will send them money to get a reaction out of that streamer. And then through this, like, negativity stream, because, kind of like all attention, even negative attention, is sometimes good attention in some aspects, right? At least for, like, an online career sometimes. And... you know, they're making a lot of money. From what I heard, from like estimated, like some of them are making like over $1,000 an hour doing this, which is just ridiculous.
Jeez.
Yeah. And if they do like an hour every day, that's $30,000 a month. Now I don't know how long this trend's gonna last for, so I don't know how long this revenue stream's gonna last forever. But still, it's crazy, man. It's like one of those things that like. Blew my mind, well, not blew my mind, but it was really fascinating. Just that we've regressed to this point where this is like acceptable things that people will watch. Like, oh my gosh, man, we're too chronically online, guys. We need to go outside.
It's funny that you say that, because like literally when you were first describing this to me before we even started the podcast, I was like, that feels like a bit, right? That feels like a bit that you last for 30 seconds, a minute, and then would just immediately get old. Like, people watch that for an hour, and I was like, how? How do you even do that? Like, I think, like, NPC jokes are pretty funny. There are some really creative ones. Like, people will act like, NPCs in, like, Skyrim or whatever, and they'll, like, pretend to, like, bug out. Or they'll, like, sit on, like, an invisible chair or whatever. Like, those are so funny, dude. And, like, they actually take, like, a lot of creativity. But then, like, these people that are just, like, hi, and they're just doing like that weird, like over exaggerated idle animation.
Right.
It definitely seems like awkward because they're not really like doing anything. It feels like something that anybody could do, but at the same time, I do feel like doing that for a whole hour would actually get really exhausting. I feel like doing it for even just 10 minutes would be like way too much.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing it for more than a few minutes. I would probably break character, even accidentally, after a few minutes.
Like, what if they have to sneeze or something? Like, what do they do?
I mean, the thing
is, sneeze animation, obviously.
If you watch it, like, sometimes they will have little, like, mess ups or whatever, and they're not always, like, 100% on the same exact idle animation. Like, they'll sometimes, and I mean, rarely, from what I can tell, like, will, like, maybe actually talk up, like, briefly about something for 10 seconds. So if you sneeze, it's just like a little blip in the whole stream. I mean, it's not really...
Gosh, it's like the outlier. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could ever watch that.
Well, I kind of feel like it's like the 21st century version of those people in parks that pretend to be statues.
It literally is.
People still do that though.
No, that's a really good comparison, Emmy. No, because these people are like, yeah, they have to uphold like an act of something that is almost alive but not alive, right? Because they have to seem like they're a virtual character almost. It's really...
Well, yeah. I'd actually respect it a bit more of it if it was done in real life in a park somewhere, actually, now that I think about it.
Right, instead of sending a hot dog emoji,
I think that would be funny.
Instead of sending the hot dog emoji, they just throw a hot dog at them.
Yeah, that would be funny.
No, see, that would be like more creative though, because then you'd actually have to like interact with real people, and it'd be funny to see like where the interactions go. But like, I think just having it be like completely online through chat, and like everybody being anonymous, I feel like it can just get pretty cringeworthy really fast.
Well, if it's in person, I mean, what are they gonna do? This person staring at a camera, like that's only like a little, either really close to their face, or sometimes it shows their whole body.
Well, it'd just be under a different style, right? It'd just be on a completely different style. You could have like a camera from far away, or even somebody else filming it, and then you just like film your interactions with strangers, but you can only pick like NPC dialogue. I feel like that would make for like a funny video.
Yeah, that would be a funny video.
Because like what you could do is if you talk with each person like for a minute, if you have like certain different questions, you could record like 30 different people ask these questions, mix them all up, jam them into like one video, and then just like, only keep in the funniest moments. I think that could make for a good video, but like,
You gotta go, Zeez. Go make that video. Go out to the park right now.
Dude, I'm so bad at
Get
embarrassing
on that
myself.
YouTube hustle. You gotta get on this trend.
I don't show my face, bro. What am I supposed to do?
Just be one of those like edgy NPCs that don't show their face. Be like,
dude, if I got no clout, all the people are just gonna be scared of me. I'll get reported to the police.
Wear like the Kanye like zip up mask thing.
NPC gets streamer pretending to be NPC gets arrested by police.
It's like he was harassing children. Hello. That's all I would like walk up and just go hello and just be like really over exaggerated. But it's like this man did not show his face. Walked up to random people and scared their children away. He was also seen talking to ducks.
Hello. You say
hello.
The duck. The duck quack. Swims
I'm gonna
away.
get you. I'm gonna get you. I have like 15 lines that I just cycle through over and over.
You will rule the day.
What a fine day! It's like pouring out.
Actually, that would be really funny.
What wonderful weather.
As a video.
What wonderful weather. What wonderful weather.
So like I break on like a wall. Just like start clipping through a wall.
No, you just start walking through the. You know those like NPCs? They like in games they just start walking, but their walking animation is bugged, so they just walk into a wall, but they keep walking.
Yeah. I like walk into another person. I just keep like walking up against them, and they're just like, bro, stop. Or I like walk up to a kid. I just like trip all over them.
You just go like,
so
excuse
awful.
you, excuse you,
And then-
excuse you.
So we all live in apartments right now, right? So could you
I think we
imagine
do.
like being out in the hallway and hearing your neighbor doing an NPC stream?
Oh gosh, that'd be so cringe.
I think I would largely ignore it. I mean,
I'd probably ignore it too, but just like, I'm just like,
yeah, I
sometimes
don't
it's,
think
like,
I can
consciously in
imagine
the
it
back
at this
of-
point.
It's just constantly in the back of my mind, I guess, since I'm in an apartment. It's like, hey, what do my neighbors hear from me? Like, it's like,
Oh
when
yeah.
I yell weird things, I don't know.
No, I think about that all the time, especially since like, I record a lot as, doing YouTube. I've always wondered what it would be like to have like a YouTuber for a neighbor. Cause like how loud would they be? What kind of things do they say? I've never actually like seen somebody filming like a YouTube video or like a TikTok like ever in real life.
Even a TikTok.
I've never
you
been
ever
like
seen,
in the
little
background.
kids doing it?
No. I
Really?
mean, I don't go outside that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Most I do is like I go to the park or to like.
I've never seen anyone use it. Actually, maybe I'm just old already.
Wait, you've
we're-
never
we're-
seen someone use like TikTok in front of you?
Like in terms of like filming a TikTok, like I've seen people use TikTok like once or twice.
I've seen
not
plenty of
really
little
something
kids
that's big in
record
my life.
TikToks in front of me, or like just out in the open.
That's funny, actually.
Tons,
Maybe you
yeah.
just interact with kids more than I do.
I don't know.
I
Like,
don't
I
know.
see like you'll like drive down the road, they'll have like mounted up somewhere, or like you'll be in a park and they'll be doing like dances with their phone like propped against a tree or something.
Nope.
It's funny because I think my little sister has a TikTok account. I don't know what it is, but I've never actually seen her film a TikTok video. Obviously, I don't live in the same house as her now. But literally, I think the little rookie, he drove to my house one time to like go pick something up, and he saw my little sister doing a TikTok dance in the front yard. This was like that. It
Oh
was
my
like
gosh, that
I
would
think
be so funny.
like that was like in 2021 or something. It was so funny, dude. Oh my gosh. And I was just like, I never saw it, but like, just hearing about it, I was like, yeah, you know what? I can believe that. And I just wonder, like, what if I stepped outside to like grab the mail or something and I just saw that? And like, how embarrassing would that be?
You'd be like,
I get embarrassed hearing my videos like playing when somebody else is watching them, but it's like when somebody's in the room with me, oh my gosh, it's even more embarrassing.
No,
Unless they're like joining in.
I think that you should have the reaction if you saw your little sister doing like, oh, fellow content creator, hello.
How many followers do you have? How many subs do you have? It's funny, I actually used to make videos and post them on YouTube with my little sister. Not with our faces on or anything.
I know
But-
of them. Yeah.
No, I remember that. That was a long time ago.
Well, I don't think.
Yeah, I
wasn't
actually
really-
challenged somebody to try and find those videos, but nobody ever did. They're still out there.
Yeah, I never. Obviously, I didn't know you back then, but you sent us to them before, right? Like it was like you guys in a sandbox, like playing with like little plushies or like with drawings and stuff.
Yeah, it was like it was like really kiddie, but it was also like it wasn't that cringe.
Yeah, we were really young. We were really young. This is like when I was like probably 13, 14. No, it might have been like 12.
Which is
but
funny.
I've been making videos all my life, dude. But like most of them will never see the light of day.
It's funny that you mentioned that because recently in my YouTube recommendations, I got recommended just a random video of a kid just playing with his toys. It was like 4 views. I was just like, what? Why is this in my recommendation?
Was it in a shorts recommendation?
No, it was just a regular recommendation.
I get that a lot.
No,
I get that
I've
a
seen
lot with
YouTube.
shorts.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube like pushing like low view counts a lot more recently. Just like randomly, like you see, like, you know, like when you go onto YouTube, at least for me, I get like 8 to 10 videos like on the first front page when I first like go on YouTube, just like the homepage. And like I swear, every once in a while, every like 1 or 2 videos will just have like 3 views, 4 views, and it'll just be like some random thing. I don't know if it's just like YouTube trying to like push out, you know, like content just randomly to be like, hey, do people like this video? Will people click on this video? I imagine that's what they're doing, especially for like newer creators, just to like see, like to test the waters with their channel. But I've just been seeing that a lot more recently, I guess, like within the past year than like any other year on YouTube, I guess.
No, so I get that with shorts mostly. So what'll happen is like, I truly tried not to watch shorts, but like usually one will interest me and then it's the endless scrolling cycle, right? So
yeah.
Usually by like, sometimes it's like if I go really far, it'll start recommending me videos, usually by like little kids. And you could tell because it's like them like recording their screen. Or like it's like, or it's like it's like the shorts format, like a TikTok format, but the joke is like super unfunny and unpolished, and it have like 100 views, so you'll know it's like from a little kid. Or sometimes it's literally like them, like talking about something, or them, like it has like 12 views. I don't know. It's just really strange. It's like, why am I getting recommended these kids' videos?
It's YouTube Kids version 2.
Well, I don't even.
So it's actually. It's a good point that you bring up, because literally like the TikTok or YouTube Shorts format, you know, people tend to like they'll like those a lot more, like you'll get a lot more views, and it's so weird to like see things that are just genuine like awful content, like it's just like so bad and cringy to watch, and it will have so many views, so many likes. I think I was watching like some Smash Bros like YouTube Shorts or TikToks, and so many of the jokes were like jokes that have been made 1,000 times before, but like the execution was like not even creative or funny in the slightest, and it has like, you know, 500,000 views and like 90k likes or something. It was like what? Why? It's like it's so much attention for like this awful TikTok or freaking short. It's so odd how just like you think about like other people's, like, did other people like this? I don't know. Maybe it's just because they only really use TikTok, and they don't really use YouTube, or they've never like been exposed to the joke before.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just something to think about, I guess. It's so awkward to me.
I don't know. I feel like with some of these people, you can kind of admire like the fact that they don't like you know how like you're always talking about like as a creator, like you're like, oh, this isn't good enough. I don't feel like I can release this yet. Well, like these people just don't. A lot of these people that release these bad videos, I assume they just don't have that inhibition about that one video, and maybe that's something that's a good thing we can take away from it. But other than that, yeah.
I'm indifferent again sometimes. Like there are some YouTube shorts I actually genuinely like Skibidi Toilet, man. Oh yeah. As I brought up last time. And then like there's this YouTube channel I really like, cats. So there's this guy who has a cat named Kurt, and he'll do a bunch of funny videos with his cat, and I really like those.
Funny cat videos.
No, it's good. They're funny, dude. They're not even funny. Some of them are like just really cute, man. I don't know. So like there's so, like each time I look at my YouTube shorts, I think YouTube knows I like 2 or I'll actually like maybe 1 or 2 of those videos that are there, and that's how I get the scroll cycle to start, dude. That's how I get down the rabbit hole. It's bad.
Oh yeah, whenever because like I think I think I mentioned this on the podcast, but I did download TikTok again to like try and sort of learn the algorithm and like what's behind it, because I thought about like posting there, and I have posted a few things.
Have they done?
Awful. Haven't got like any attention. I didn't really care. It's freaking TikTok, bro. I don't care about that. The only thing I wanted to experiment was like, can I get people to like come over from TikTok to my YouTube? That's literally all I cared about. And I think I maybe use it like once a week. But how often, like whenever you're watching like shorts or TikToks, or I guess neither of you use TikTok, but like when you're watching like short form content, how often do you find yourself like in a session? Like how much time has gone by when you're like, oh man, I should probably stop watching?
I don't know. Let's go through my YouTube history, because it's really funny. If you go through like history, or when you're trying to find a video, they actually do it really funnily. They actually do separate it between shorts and non-short.
Well, how often does it correlate? Like, how long does it take for a short to count as a view, like in your history? Do you know? I don't actually know. Is it like 5 seconds?
It pretty much right away. At least for a short, it should be like almost instantaneously. I don't know. Maybe you do have to watch it for a little bit before it counts it as something that needs to log for a short. I don't know. I mean, in general, I almost always have more actual YouTube videos than shorts. But there's like some like, I don't know. There's some days where like it looks like I've watched like 20. There's other days it looks like I've watched 5. Because it'll go by how it sorts it actually is it goes day by day. Days I have more free time, obviously I'll have more shorts that I've watched.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Thursday I only watched 3. Oh, look at me go. Good me.
I actually don't keep track of this stuff. I didn't even know it. Well, let me take a look at my own viewing history right now. I'm actually kind of curious.
History quite a bit to try to find videos that I was trying to rewatch. Like, for instance, I watched like the first 5 minutes. However, I had a meeting at work, so I had to like stop watching it, right? Or I was like listening to it, and I thought it was really interesting. And so I'll go back to my history and watch it. That's all I kind of know about that. I don't know if you guys ever use the history function on YouTube, but
I use the watch later function for that. But
I do history all the time, dude. Whenever
what
was that video?
Watch later, it never works.
I used history to find like really old videos that I watched at one point, but I forgot the title of, but I want to show someone else. Like that happens a lot, actually.
Man,
Gotcha.
YouTube keeps adding and removing this feature called Continue Watching. It's like one of the tabs at the top. It's amazing. It's so good. It's really good if you're like listening to like a long form video and you stop like at 30 minutes, but it's like 2 hours long, right? Like a video essay or like some iceberg thing that you're like listening to in the background.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh, dude. It's so helpful. Like it's like it's a whole list of like, I mean, over like months of stuff that you've watched that you just like stop midway through that you watched like long enough to like join into the separate list of Continue Watching. Oh man, it's so cool. I wish they like actually had that as like a permanent like feature or like tab. It only is like I only see it on the mobile app as one of those things like at the top where it's like what is trending for you, right? So it'll give you like recommendations, like podcast, music, gaming, stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. No, for me, like whenever like that feature isn't like a thing, I usually just like go back in the history and find the video. But yeah, there's some times where I will watch like, half. I think I was literally watching somebody's like Ash Ketchum like recap Pokemon story, and I made it through like an hour in, and I like stopped watching it, and I literally didn't know what I was watching, or like I couldn't find it through like my history like a couple weeks later, and I forgot like what the video was called, so I just like gave up until I randomly found it again one day, and I was like, oh yeah, I was watching this video. Let's see if I can finish it. But yeah, no, it's definitely nice to have like those longer form continue watching things, so you can get back to it pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was talking about YouTube Shorts with like, how long do you spend on it? Because I'll hear stories of people, being stuck watching YouTube Shorts or on TikTok for like hours, and they'll realize that like so much time has gone by, and they're like, "Welp, what am I supposed to do now? Can't do anything with the rest of the day because I used up so much time already." My sister has done this before too. Like sometimes she'll like watch TikToks before she goes to bed, and she'll watch them for like 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my gosh!
I think I don't think she does it like that much anymore. But yeah, I whenever I do it, I find myself like. I feel like I can't watch short form content for more than like 15 minutes because when I do, I feel like I'm just losing brain cells, and I'm like, I gotta stop. I literally feel like I'm losing brain cells when I do it because like sometimes, obviously you scroll until you find something interesting, but at times it's just like I don't know.
Well,
not oversaturation, but just like it's just like too much. I feel like
the interesting stuff is the stuff
actually. Oh, sorry. I'm looking through my viewing history, and I hardly ever watch any shorts. Not that I look at it. I feel like I have very different watch history from both of you in terms of how I waste my time on YouTube videos. I feel like I feel like I just watch like regular length YouTube videos mostly because I feel like I just don't have the patience to sift through shorts. It's like it's not enough. I don't know.
It's funny that you say that because shorts are literally supposed to be like that instant gratification for people with no patience to find a good video.
Yes.
I mean, like, it's not that good though. It's like I'm eating like one Pocky stick, and I really want like a whole box or something like that. It's just I want the whole
that's so
box.
true. It's literally like just bite-sized content for people to enjoy.
I guess it just depends on like your viewing habits. I feel like I like more long form content. If you look at like a lot of my history, you see like 2-hour videos, 4-hour videos, 3-hour videos, and you just see me watching it all the way through.
Yeah, I compare it to like snacks versus meals. Like you want a good meal. Like when you're gonna eat, you want a meal. Whereas like other people will like snack on things throughout the day, like short form content. I don't know. That's how I view it sometimes.
I think that TikTok may have a better algorithm than Shorts because I can't see how anyone will actually watch it over an hour. And the reason I say that is because for me, the way that Shorts work is that I think that the most interesting content you don't dig for, it's the stuff you see first. And then you continue scrolling because it's relatively interesting moving, but it gets less and less interesting. Like I said, it gets in that rabbit hole where you're watching just like little kid videos. Again, by 15 minutes of going through Shorts, which is about like more than 15, like 20 videos, right? By the 20th one, I mean, you're really scratching for me, it's just, I stopped watching because all the stuff being recommended to me is just so terrible. So I don't, maybe if it's continuously more interesting, then I could go for a longer time, which is why I think like maybe TikTok does do it better with their algorithm. Maybe they understand their users more than YouTube does with Shorts.
It's so funny that you talk about that. Sorry to interject here real quick. The TikTok algorithm, I would just kind of like, when I use it, it's like crazy because it changes so fast to like keep you addicted to the app.
Yeah.
Like I was like watching a bunch of Smash Bros related TikToks. And like literally the next day I was like looking for more like editing stuff, like how do people edit shorts and like editing tips. And like when you watch like one video on a certain like topic, like TikTok will push that so much immediately. So I've actually heard people like talk about this, where they'll like give TikTok to a friend and they'll like keep scrolling until they find something interesting. And like when they put it, like after 5 minutes, just 5 minutes of scrolling, they give it back to the original owner and it's like completely different. Like imagine, it'd be like somebody takes over your YouTube account and they click on like some videos that they want to watch. But like, let's say they do it for, 5 hours. Like your YouTube account wouldn't be that different, right? There wouldn't be that many things that have changed on your recommendations. But TikTok, it's like a completely different account because they want to keep you addicted by like only giving you like that short-term stuff. Like anything that you're interested in the long term, they don't care. They only like care about like the last like 20 videos that you watched, and they're like, okay, these are what we're gonna push. And if they stop watching this stuff, let's push something else until they start watching that instead. It's crazy.
Well, that kind of goes to what I was about to talk about as well. Like I was thinking about a lot of the more short-form contents, and I think another reason I don't really like them is because they're not like really that satisfying. It's like they're good, but like at the end of you don't really feel that satisfied after you watch one, and they're not really that filling. It's kind of like just drinking soda constantly. Like, okay, a cup is good, and then you drink another one. It's like, okay, that was good, but you're not really getting filled up. Like you're just drinking something sweet and kind of vapid almost.
Exactly. It's like eating snacks. Snacks never make you feel full.
Yeah.
They're just there to like fill the void of like you're just a little bit hungry. That's why like again, long form content or having good meals is always far more satisfying than just a little snack.
I guess go on to like how fast recommendations change. How fast do recommendations change for you guys is like YouTube? For instance, do you feel like whenever you go to the homepage, is it still like the same videos as maybe something that would have been there, I don't know, a month ago, 3 months ago, stuff like that?
I think it depends. For me, it doesn't really change too much since I'm very much in like the gaming sphere. And I get like a lot of the people that I'm subscribed to, I still see their like videos show up on my homepage a lot. But I'll just get like lots of video game soundtracks. I know you wanted to talk about that a little bit later, but I get like lots of video game soundtracks in my recommendations and just like gaming content. It also depends on which channel I'm using, because on my gaming channel I watch gaming content. On my second channel I watch more animated cartoon content. On my third channel I watch more like analysis of YouTube videos and just like other things. It just depends what channel I'm using, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I kind of go with the recommendations a bit more. Like, I kind of look at them, and if it interests me, I'll click on it. And over time, you can see my feed changing as I'm, like, getting into different interests in different channels. I feel like it's pretty slow, though. Like, I really have to click on a lot of videos from one channel. And even then, it might not even change that much if it's not the majority of the videos that I watch. Like, in terms of watch time.
Yeah, I think it's just because YouTube does push that watch time.
Well, yeah, I wish it wouldn't push watch time as much, because a lot of the videos I watch with longer watch time are not the majority of the videos that I want recommended to me, actually. But so my YouTube recommendations actually kind of suck, or at least on my homepage. So yeah, the shorts are all right though on my recommendation page. So yeah.
So for me, I don't know. I think they do change a bit. How they change a lot is, like, for instance, since I've started my job, I listen to a lot of things in the background, so I get a lot more music and podcast recommendations rather than...
Do you listen to the Zeez Podcast?
Yeah, yes, I do get the Zeez Podcast recommended the second it comes out.
Let's go, bro.
I get all your videos recommended to me a lot, actually, at least on Zeez PUBG 2 and 3.
Wow, what a true fan.
Let's
because
go.
I watch all of the 2 and 3 videos, and now the other channels not as much, so... Yeah, so I do get those. Like, for instance, that's how I knew about your Haley's On It video, like 10 minutes after it was uploaded, because I opened up the YouTube and it was at the top there. Speaking of which, it has over 1,000 views right now, so already. That's good.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 10 right now, which is okay because most of my videos on that channel have been performing really badly, but
what's a 5 out of 10?
Whenever you upload a video onto YouTube, it'll give it a ranking on like where it would place view-wise among the last 10 videos that you uploaded. And what YouTubers want to aim for is they always want to like try and improve their content, you know? So you always want to be like above like 4, and you know that's not always the case.
Who provides
like,
you
it's
that
basically
metric? Sorry.
When you go into your YouTube studio, it's like the first thing that you show up for your latest video.
Oh.
It's literally the first thing. I could probably put like a screenshot or something, and it will literally be like, this is how many people, like this is how many views it has, this is the click-through rate, this is the watch time, like the average watch time. So you can see like how viewer retention is or whatever. It's pretty cool. They give you a lot of analytics in YouTube Studio, which I find to be very fascinating to look at.
That is really interesting. Let's see. All right, real talk, guys. Everyone go to your YouTube homepage, all right? Reload it.
Yes.
Okay.
What are the top 6 videos there? If we have a single similar one. Actually, there's no way you guys are gonna have similar ones to me.
No, there's no way. I because of the I watch like a lot of history essays and whatnot, and so I get like a lot of politics onto my feed. And actually, I've been trying to get rid of the politics, which is why I was like, yeah, there's too much politics in here. Actually, I was just going through and getting rid of it. Now that you guys were mentioning it.
Yeah.
No, literally every single one of mine is gaming content.
There's some music, anime clips, and some education stuff.
I don't know why this is... Okay, so I have Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History, Part 24 by Genial Samuel 21. 2.
What? Part 24?
Yeah. The Log Flumes Start Them All, The Royal Mile, Episode 13, Planet Coaster. Monkey Jones, The FBI Theory. There's Withered, fan-made Minecraft boss theme, which is really weird. I don't know why that's recommended. Grateful Dead 7/19, 1990. So it's a Grateful Dead show, full one. And then the 2021 Texas Deep Freeze, a failure on all levels, a retrospective. So it's a weather video. Yeah. So,
Interesting. Yeah,
we all know how interested you are on the weather.
yeah.
You have a lot more of those like deep dive analytical ones. Mine are 5 easy ways to beat your friends at Pokemon, Overworld theme from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Persona 5 Butterfly Kiss, 12 obscure Pokemon facts you don't know about, the comprehensive roast of Total Drama World Tour, and Pokemon Black 2 OST World Tournament Final Battle music. Like it's literally just like half soundtracks, half gaming content.
Yeah. Of my top 6 there, only one of them is under 20 minutes, which is the Withered fan-made boss theme. All of them are super long. Like obviously the Dead Show's the longest, it's 3 hours, but the other ones are all kind of, well, the Planet Coaster one is just like a Let's Play, but the other 4 are all or the other 3 are all
like really long form content.
Yeah, they're like video documentary stuff, so they're all
gotcha.
Pretty long and scripted. Yeah.
I will say most of my videos are long form. I feel like, I don't really feel like these recommendations represent my watch history that well. So,
gotcha. Speaking about like, I was talking about video game soundtracks a second ago. Yeah, I know you have that as a point you wanted to bring up, RaceCar.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about OSTs in general, because I know that that's something that we mentioned earlier. The reason I even said that is because when I opened up my recommendations the first time when we had that document open, I had the Made in Abyss soundtrack recommended to me to listen to.
I love the Made in Abyss soundtrack, though. It's so good.
Yeah, it got me thinking, like, the best anime soundtracks, like, because I was really big into anime soundtracks through all of high school, and I still really like them. I have some of them, like, on my Spotify. I just wanted to know, like, what were your guys' favorites ones to listen to? Anime or video game or...
What was my favorite sound? I think I asked Zeez this in a previous episode, didn't I?
I don't remember. But go ahead, Emmy.
No, that's all I was mentioning. But I'm trying to think about what my favorite soundtrack was to listen to. Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry. Hey, RaceCar.
All right. I guess actually, just to make it simpler, do you have a favorite video game or anime soundtrack?
Do I have a favorite video game or anime soundtrack? The entire soundtrack, not just one track.
No, it could be like, I guess of the entire soundtrack, right? Like if there's like 9 strong OSTs, right, that you really like from a video game, and it's like, it just is way better than like the 2 of another video. I don't know.
That's a great question. I feel like there's ones with really strong OSTs in general, but there's always like the video games with like stand out, like 1 or 2 that are like really, really great, and the other ones are like kind of forgettable.
Right.
I don't know, Zeez, do any come to mind for you?
Well, if we're talking video games, like there's thousands. I could literally just mention any Nintendo game, like any Square Enix game. They all got like such godlike music.
Right, but what's your favorite?
That's tough. I think for video games, I'd probably have to go with either Fire Emblem Fates or Fire Emblem Echoes. Probably just Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem's music. It's so good. They have a lot of different varieties of soundtracks, but like they just get so hype. And something that I really love that Fire Emblem does, I know you guys don't play the game, but I'll try and make this easy for you to understand. They basically have 2 versions of every single battle song. And how Fire Emblem works is like you have like an overview of the map. And you have like it's like basically like chess. And then like every time you have your units attack, they'll like it'll zoom into this animation, then it will zoom back out like to the the overboard or whatever you want to call it. So like let's say it's chess. You move a pawn forward, nothing really happens. But then you have a pawn that will attack that other pawn. Imagine it zooms into like the pawns, and they're like, you see like the battle animation, they fight, and then it will zoom back out, and then one piece will die or whatever. Imagine that, but like every single time, like the music is very calm. And it helps you think when you're like just on the when you're just like thinking about your moves. But when you make your move, it will like zoom in. It'll play the animation, and it will be like super
hype,
dramatic and hype. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love. They have like they'll call it like calm and fire, like a calm version then a fire version, or they'll have like a storm version then a thunder version. It's so cool. I love when Fire Emblem does that. It's like one of my favorite mechanics in the game because it literally. Has 2 versions of every song, which is a calm version and a hype version, and people will like upload mixes where it'll like play like 1 minute of the calm version, 1 minute of the awesome version. It's really fun to listen to, dude. It's really fascinating to see like how Fire Emblem handles their music, and I'm just a massive fan of it.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that does. I mean, I've listened to a lot of Fire Emblem soundtracks. I'm still trying to think of mines. Do you want to go first, RaceCar?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think.
I do have an all-time favorite soundtrack, and I genuinely don't know if anything could ever top it. It is the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so
Yeah.
the way that soundtrack worked is Yoko Kanno, who was like the music producer at the time, she formed together a bunch of musicians and they made a band called the Seatbelts. And the variety, not only the variety, but the quality of the music was so incredible. Like Shinichiro Watanabe, who's the director and like the original creator of Bebop, during production, Kanno would just come over and would have like I don't even know, like 5 songs that were just like mind-blowingly amazing, like something that would be the highlight of any TV, like show ever. And they'd make like multiple songs a day because they were like just so creatively inspired at the time making the soundtrack. He was like, dude, I can't like, he basically was just like laughing off. He's like, I can't use any of this. There's so much stuff like that were released in the discs that were like maybe featured like 10 seconds of a song, but you listen to the full song and it's just wonderful. But no, I mean, it's everything, man. It's got rock and roll. It has some like pump, like kind of more even hip hop elements, which was kind of rare for the 90s, at least at the time, for anime at least. And then it has tons of country, lots of great acoustic, like full orchestral choir stuff. It's just wonderful, and all of it is just so creative. Like it's just, I don't know, it just nothing in terms of just how hard that soundtrack went for a show that really wasn't gonna be, I mean, it had a lot of budget, but it really wasn't that popular, at least in Japan. They just, I don't know, they just went all out on it. And some of these songs are really, really long and so detailed. It's not like most anime soundtracks you listen to are just kind of like, you know, I don't know, they're background music, right? And they're not supposed to be anything too spectacular. And they have a couple songs like that they have to use, right? Because you can't have just incredible, awe-inspiring music all the time in a show or a video game.
For sure, yeah.
But even then, it's just like, it just is rare that there's not something that just blows your mind. And sometimes it's played so subtly and quietly in an episode, and you listen to the actual like recording, it just goes so hard. I don't know how to describe it. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist called Cowboy Bebop Favorites. Listen to any of those; they're really good. It's really impressive because it's almost like you're listening to a real band. Speaking of like real bands, another cool anime example is Fooly Cooly. They had it was like the Pillows, yeah, that's what they're called. So I think that they were an existing band at the time, and they got them together to release like albums. Like Gainax funded them to support like an awesome like rock and roll soundtrack to Fooly Cooly, which is just this really short 6-episode OVA about like it's like absurdist, like cool stuff, but it's about like, you know, growing up. It's like a coming of age story with just like tons of absurdist elements. I don't know. It's just the way that Fooly Cooly is just like can be described as the original creator, whose name is blanking me at the moment. I'm sorry. I would know more if you asked me like many years ago when I was more into anime. But basically, it was like every element of his life that he thought was cool, he threw in the show. So, for instance, like there's like the quote "never knows best," which you just saw out of like a magazine, and he like put it on one of the characters like cigarettes as she like smokes it, or like for instance, like they have guitars that they use as weapons, right? Like they use it as like baseball bats, and they'll have like chainsaws coming out of it. It's just like because he thought like he like saw someone smash a guitar on stage before, or like they hit a ball with their guitar, and he thought it was so cool. So like that's like the main weapon of a bunch of of the main character of Haruko, right? It's like all this cool stuff where like it's just everything that he thought was cool, like as an adolescent, he just threw into a show of coming of age, and it's just really awesome.
No, that's awesome.
Oh man, if you see Fooly Cooly, it makes no sense the first time you watch it. The more you watch, like you can, because it's only 6 episodes, it's like really just a tiny bit longer than a normal movie. I've watched it probably like 8-9 times. Each time you watch it, you get something slightly different out of it because there's a lot that goes on. There's tons of background elements, and all the characters have their own arcs happening in the 6 episodes. It's really good. Yeah, so that's another great example. Made in Abyss we just talked about. A lot of other ones. I think I used to have. I thought I did have a playlist. I might not have of just anime OSTs that I really liked, but I probably lost it somehow. I know my SoundCloud for a long time when I was in high school had just tons of soundtracks that I liked just off some of my favorite shows. But yeah, I guess those would be. I guess Cowboy Bebop is definitely my answer. Video game wise, I never really got super into video game soundtracks just because I was never into as much video games as you all were. That being said, I did listen to like Shadow of the Colossus a lot. I did listen to I mean, of all the games I did like, I listened to the soundtracks of. I think that like video games in general probably do have better soundtracks than anime because I think that they have a more because they're more like you have to be enveloped in an environment or an experience. There's a lot of like downtime in which like you're like wandering, so like the music kind of has to like hold up your experience and attention sometimes more often than an anime
That's
does.
true, yeah.
So I think in general, video games typically have stronger soundtracks. So if I got more into video games, I probably would have more answers to give you regarding that. So yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily that like anime would have stronger, or sorry, like video games have stronger soundtracks. I think they have stronger like solo tracks, whereas like anime, there's a lot of other things happening, right?
Yes, yeah.
You gotta like incorporate music into like the timing and the pacing of like every single shot, whereas video games, like unless you're playing like a cutscene, you don't really have to think about that too hard because it's just the game. But when you were talking about Cowboy Bebop, it just reminded me of when we carpooled. I think actually on a trip to Emmys before, you like played the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack the entire time, and that was like my first exposure to it, and I thought it was so good. Yeah, you did. It was good.
Oh wait, that was what you were playing when you were driving down to my place?
I don't remember.
Actually pretty
I don't know
hype.
if you remember that, Zeez.
It was. No, it was. It was my first exposure to it. I remember I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this anime. I never have, but I will eventually. I will one
I've
day.
watched a lot of Cowboy Bebop at this point, actually, already.
How long is it?
26 episodes.
Yeah,
That's
I was
not- that's
watching it
not that
last
long.
summer, actually, but I stopped watching it and I never finished, and I might finish it sometime.
I say 26 episodes isn't long as a One Piece fan.
Well, and a One Piece fan. Oh my god, I'm dying. No, so I mean, I think like to answer RaceCar's point, I don't think anime has better OST, or not anime, video games have better OSTs. I feel like they have different kinds of OSTs. I feel like it's really hard to compare them because the video game OSTs tend to be a lot more atmospheric. They are more loopable. They don't make as much impact, but they also don't get as old as much. Like if you listen to the guy who was creating like the Super Mario Bros. Main theme, he had to make something that he knew people would be listening to pretty much on loop, like for maybe hours, and he had to make something that wouldn't get old, but also like fit with the mood. And so like, I wouldn't say that makes it worse or better per se, that just makes it different, and it serves a different purpose than anime OSTs. Not to say that anime OSTs can't be atmospheric, a lot of them are, like Made in Abyss. It just depends on the type of anime and what the particular scene is going for. To Zeez's point, though, on like game OSTs, like not really having to adapt too much, that's actually not totally true, because it's interesting because a lot of games have like custom MIDI instruments that they have in the programming that turn on or off, and there's actually a bit of an art to smoothly transitioning soundtracks. Like I'm not sure if you've noticed like how soundtracks can smoothly transition between the overworld theme and battle theme in a lot of games that are open world.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of programming involved, and you have to like do some orchestration with the music like that way. It's
if I can interject there, I know I've said that, but what I meant is that I think it's a far more simplified when it comes to video games as opposed to like animes or like cartoons or anything. I think a great example, this is not anime, but like Tom and Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like watch like any old Tom and Jerry cartoons, there's very little dialogue, but like, you listen to the music, dude, and it's like the timing of like the animation mixed with the music is like it's insane. It's insane. It's like it's so good.
Yeah, the timing is a bit like more loose with the gaming. I think like when you're doing with animation, music and animation, a lot of it comes down to choice, selection, and timing the two together. So yeah,
I feel like that would be a lot harder than just like, you know, creating something that can like loop and like transition, because I feel like transitional themes are like really aren't extremely complex. Like obviously it'll just make a game more fun or engaging. There's another word I'm trying to search for, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. You know, I feel like just like when it comes to animation, it's a lot more difficult to like get that timing and mood down exactly, especially like with a limited amount of runtime as well.
Yeah, I'm actually like, I'd actually be curious as to see how the process is done. I feel like it might even be done in reverse. Like you might have like a soundtrack and some of the animation elements are layered on top of the soundtrack for timing purposes, because it's hard to time the soundtrack to the animation otherwise.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that.
There has been instances where they cut music, they like cut a part out and then like immediately like have like the chorus come in early. I've seen plenty of like they have like fight scenes like One Piece or whatever. They'll like skip over like half the song just to get to like the awesome part, like to get to the hype part or whatever. Whenever they don't need like 2 minutes of filler. Good old One Piece.
We were talking about animation and stuff, so back to Bebop. I know this is also true. I think in that same interview where he was talking about Yoko Kanno, in the soundtrack to that, there was definitely like, because the music was produced so fast, sometimes he'd listen to a song and it would inspire a scene. So he did make scenes in the show specifically around music, right? The music that was provided for the show. And I think that happens with a lot of anime, actually, or cartoons, where they'll have a soundtrack produced ahead of time, and because of that, they can storyboard around it and just have an idea, of how they want to incorporate that really powerful song into a scene or like into an arc or something like that. Because I think that, I'm sure you guys, especially as creatives, maybe thinking like, when you listen to music, I'm sure it inspires you with your art, right?
Yeah, it does.
For sure.
Exactly. So I would.
I just think that also like puts a lot of pressure on the musical artists as well to like have to create something that will match or like invoke feelings in somebody else, I guess. If
they just kind of produce, so like when they make soundtracks, especially if it's based off of source material like Made in Abyss, like Kevin Pimpkin, the guy who made the Made in Abyss soundtrack, like a lot of those were songs that were inspired by him when he read the manga of it. So like a lot of them have like ideas as to the kind of mood they want to elicit, or for if it's an original anime like Cowboy Bebop, they have general themes that they're trying to go for, because it's not, the soundtrack is not the first step, obviously, in the creative process. Some ideas, a lot of concept art, a lot of like where they want the story to go is probably decided first. The musical artist is then probably informed of it, and they kind of just are free to explore however they want to express that, right?
But I imagine they also draft it, right?
Yeah.
It probably goes through a few different reworks. They talk back and forth with the directors and see which direction they want to go in. And ultimately, it's the director's call.
The best anime, though, like Gurren Lagann or Bebop, like they both have like been known the fact that like there was hardly any creative control over a lot of the artists involved. Like I see. They didn't go through animation checks. Like Yoko Kanno, like she was just making tons of music, and they just found ways to incorporate it in the show. I think like, yes, in most shows, like, yeah, obviously you have multiple checks, but almost like the best art is where all the artists are left to just express themselves in all the ways they want to, and they try to make a cohesive project out of it. Maybe it'll be convoluted and terrible as well. Like everyone involved has to have some sort of idea of aesthetic sensibility of what they're working with, right?
They all have to be on the same page. If they all like start it's like you're trying to like get an orchestra to like make a symphony, but no one has any sheet music and they're all just spontaneously playing, and you're hoping that they all get onto the same page eventually and get what each other are trying to do, and hoping something good comes out of it. And a lot of the time it can really work out when you have a team that like is really in sync with each other, but other times not so much. Sometimes you do need that direction, and sometimes if you just have like a team that really understands each other, you don't. I guess it just depends on the team.
Well, yeah, it does, yeah. It kind of relates back to my liking of jam bands, which we talked about in the last episode, where, it's the artists are kind of left to express the music how they want to in that moment. Now, obviously, they play that song, it's their song, so they know how it should be played. So they have a really strong sense of like what should be done, but they are left to freely explore individually to kind of, and they all have to come back together somehow cohesively, or hold up at least in one end, right? So I don't know. I guess you could. That's a weird comparison. Just made in my head jam bands and anime. So yeah.
I never actually got to say my favorites though. I think I finally came up with a good one that I actually.
Oh yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's gonna be so unoriginal though. It's all right though. I actually really like the Deltarune soundtrack a lot. So I think that would be my best OST in my opinion that I've heard in a while.
Do you have a favorite song from Deltarune?
A favorite song from Deltarune? Oh, God.
And why is it Rude Buster?
Is it Rude Buster? Actually, I really like Rude Buster.
It's the Sans theme.
Rude Buster's good.
That's not from Deltarune!
Oh, no,
fake fan!
Fake
fan!
Actually, that is originally from a Earthbound rum hack, Halloween rum hack, not actually from Undertale. So
We're just gonna put on like a sad face over this, dude. It's cringe. Anyway, continue, Emmy. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. I mean, it is just my favorite soundtrack overall in terms of like balance, and it's quite eclectic. I really like it made me feel a lot of things when I was like playing it, and that's like I think my favorite part about the soundtrack. In terms of my favorite song from it, it's either probably Rude Buster or Field of Hopes and Dreams from Chapter 1.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've only heard like mainly Chapter 1 music, but I think
Chapter 2 is good ones
Attack of the
too.
Killer Queen or whatever is pretty good too, from Chapter 2.
Yeah, so there's that. In terms of anime OSTs,
Madoka Magica.
What? Stop! I'm not sure if Madoka Magica actually has like... I like a lot of their vocals when they do
have,
vocals,
like,
but I'm
really
not sure
good
about the
songs,
OST in general. The OST in general, I feel like, is not super standout-ish, in my opinion. Actually, speaking of that, I actually really like the Princess Principal's OST. That one's a pretty good OST.
Oh yeah, that's right, dude.
Did you watch that with Emmy, or did you just only watch Madoka Magica?
We watched both, yeah.
Oh, you watched Princess Principal with Emmy? That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. No, I actually think Princess Principal has like an incredible soundtrack. Actually, even like the background music, even the background soundtracks are really, really good. It's very thematic. It makes me really feel like I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like it. Made in Abyss is always good. I could say Zelda, but that's like obvious. Zelda has pretty good music. Actually, I was listening yesterday to Tears of the Kingdom's music, and I was like thinking about it in comparison with Breath of the Wild. And I don't think we talked about this when we talked about Tears of the Kingdom during the first episode I was in. But actually, I've noticed that there's quite a bit more layering and whatnot, and to Tears of the Kingdom soundtrack, it's like richer and deeper in some senses. And I like that.
I know this is a bit, I don't want to touch this too long because of race cars and play the game, but the temple themes, like whenever you get like a new...
No, yeah, the temple themes are amazing.
They're so good, because there's like 5 or 6 different versions of each. It's so good. Like it builds up over time, like the further you get.
Yeah, I know, it fills in layer by layer. It becomes more complex.
And then before you fight the boss, it does like this really awesome ending to the song. It's beautiful, man. I love going through the temples and hearing the soundtrack.
All right, Race Car, we've left you in the dark.
No, you guys are fine. I actually really like hearing what you guys have to talk. Even if I don't have something to relate to, I'll just, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like kind of the inverse when you were talking about Cowboy Bebop. Even though I've watched most of Cowboy Bebop,
I haven't yet, but I've heard the soundtrack.
Feel like, I don't know. I feel like I can't relate as much because I liked it, but I didn't love Cowboy Bebop. If that makes sense.
No, that's fine. It's very episodic. In fact, so each episode's not quite as strong as the last, which is rare for anime to be fairly episodic.
It's like a lot of vignettes. I would characterize it as that, like a bunch of like short self-contained stories that don't really have like a larger arc.
No, there is a larger arc in general that happens with the show. So it's kind of like with a lot of cartoons. Let's say I would almost say it's structured similar to like Steven Universe season 1 a lot.
Okay.
Where there's like really small elements added in, like a new character's introduced that will run on.
Oh yeah, that's like small stuff, but it's not like
the story leading up.
That happens a lot in
Spike's
Western cartoons.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But it's not
like that.
It's not like what is typically in anime or what you'd expect from a lot of like more like anime nowadays, where it's like very plot focused.
It's like directly serialized. Yeah, it's like you can't watch episode 8 without watching 1 through 7.
Well, you can. You just have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
I'm gonna just shuffles the entire thing out of order.
Yeah, watch One Piece episode 400 and then tell me what's happening.
To be honest, that's kind of what it felt like to watch Princess Principal, where the episodes are out of order. Actually, I feel like you could watch that one out of order. Yeah, that's true.
No, so there's for instance, there's a really big anime series called the Monogatari series, and the way that they
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, there's like Baki, Monogatari, all this kind of stuff. So the way that they were released was there is a like storyline, right? But they're all released in different orders. So like as you watch the series, you put together the whole story, which is really strange. I know. I think Kara no Kyokai is the same way, which was this movie series. I think there was like 8 movies that Kara no Kyokai. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, but It's by UFO Table from 2008, and I think this is the same exact way. There's like 8 movies, and the movies are all told in different parts of the story. So you like piece together as you go through what happened, which might be annoying, or might not be. Depends who you are. Whenever that happens, there's like people create like so many charts on how to watch it. Like, oh, this part of this series goes in this order. Like they make timelines, right?
Oh yeah, the timelines.
So if you ever want to watch it in order, you could. But some people recommend doing it like most people like. If you try to get into Monogatari, like there's a million different ways to get into it because all different ways people like to structure it. But usually those are the 2 main ones: is like in order in the timeline, or just the most recommended is just to watch it straight through because part of the enjoyment was piecing together like all the storylines.
I feel like if you're watching in order, you're kind of defeating the purpose of the show. But yeah,
so I don't really know if it was a anime decision. Like, was it? Or if they're written that way, or like, did the anime decide to adapt them in really strange orders? I don't know.
Interesting.
I've never even heard of this.
Well, I've heard of Monogatari, but I've not like watched it, or I don't know anything about it.
If you saw images, you'd probably recognize it. It has some like popular-ish characters, maybe. Anyways, so back to anime real quick. Remember how you guys were laughing at like One Piece of being long? Do you guys know what like the longest anime is?
Detective Conan or whatever?
It's not Detective Conan. There's multiple that are longer than it. And this one is absolutely monstrously longer than anything else. In fact, I might be wrong, is the longest. It is definitely the longest form of visual media in history.
The Super Smash Bros. Brawl fanfiction.
That's
the longest written. That's the longest written piece of thing. Well, I think it might have been beaten recently, but I think that's the longest one. Is the Brawl fanfiction, which is so funny.
It's a show called Sazai-san. I think it started airing in like 68 or 69, and airs to this day. And it has a whopping. It has almost 8,000 episodes.
Oh my! Wait, are these like super short? Or are they all like 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Like how are they?
I don't know. Let's see. They are 20 to 26 minutes in length.
Wow.
No, yeah, that's incredible, man. So what it is it's a family show. So like think like just for like all ages, right? And it's pretty low production stuff like that. But it's just like a culturally popular thing, and they've been producing episodes for 50 odd years now, every single week. So now they're all the way up to like almost 8,000 episodes.
That's actually insane.
And it's still going. Only an 8th. Wow.
I don't even know how you could run a series that long without getting like bored of your characters. Like One Piece does a great job of keeping things interesting, but I guess this is more like laid back family things.
Well, I think that their staff the original staff 75% of them are dead now, so that's easier to deal with. So it's like this, but I'm sure they changed out staff. Like the voice actors had to have changed. There is no way.
Oh, true.
Like the grandpa character in 1969 is still alive, like voicing the grandpa character, right?
What? That's crazy.
That's actually incredible.
I guess when we were talking about like just anime and like soundtracks or whatever, when it comes to like openings, do you guys have like a favorite opening?
I do. I have a lot, actually.
Yes, I do.
Can you narrow it down to like at least like 3 or so?
So I have a whole YouTube playlist related to this. It's called Anime Openings that aren't. It has a bad word in it. I can't say that it's that aren't poopy. I'll say poopy instead. Yeah, it has all my favorites in here, and I think my all-time favorite, I'll probably have to go with the ping pong opening. I don't know. I think it's the ping pong opening.
I've never seen ping pong.
So Ping Pong, the animation, I'm sure you guys, if you haven't heard me rant or ramble about it ever, it's an amazing show.
I think you did talk about it once to me.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it.
Yeah. I'd say probably Ping Pong, the animation. I really like Samurai Champloo's opening a lot. I mean, all of these, I'm looking at them, they're all just so good. All these openings on here. What sucks is this is a playlist that constantly dies because videos get copyright struck all the time. So unless they're like on an official
yeah.
channel, dude, like I keep losing a lot of the videos. So I don't remember which openings are the best ever. I keep losing them. Like I used to have oh no, I still have the Full Metal Alchemist one on there. That was one I had to keep changing all the time. The Brotherhood opening one, the first one.
OP1? OP1 was pretty good.
OP1's the best one. All of them are really good, but OP1
that one's
is
Again,
the best.
right?
Yes, yeah, uh-huh.
Again was pretty good. I really love that one. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite anime opening. Actually, I'm gonna go back to Princess Principal. The movie opening was just
okay.
Like,
hold on.
So good.
Is it the same? Was it like the same as the TV opening?
No, it was not the same as the TV opening.
Well, hold on. What I mean by that is that it's just like is it a minute and a half, like that kind of like structure, where you have a minute and a half to like go over.
I don't know. Let me.
The version I listened to, I think that you sent me was I think 3 or 4 minutes.
But they cut it for the opening.
Probably they do most of that.
Yeah,
with,
they do all the
songs.
time, right? But I was just talking about. I'm not just talking about music. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant by is.
Well, no, I meant the actual full opening. Let me see if I could find it.
No, I meant like with the animation. I meant like
with the animation.
Yeah, I'm including like the visuals in this because if I'm talking purely from a song perspective, that would change the list entirely.
No, that's exactly what I meant. I don't know. I think I've just seen so many. I don't know if I could really pick one, but I think One Piece's the 5th opening called Kokoro no Chizu is very, very good. I don't know. It's right around the same arc that is one of my favorites in One Piece as well. So that probably has a bit of a bias to it. But the song slaps. The visuals are really, really fun. All the characters are in their best outfits. I don't know. It's a great time. It's a great time. There's probably a better one, but that is definitely one of the ones that always just first comes to my mind when people talk about anime openings.
Yeah. Other ones I have on here, I have Monster, I have the first Soul Eater opening, I have both Mob Psycho openings, or actually all three.
Oh, Mob Psycho, dude, all three of them are goated. All three of them are goated.
All three of them on here. Yeah, those are incredible.
They're all goated. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I didn't think about it. Yeah, those are all goated. All the Mob Psychos are goated.
I have the Great Teacher Onizuka, GTO. Had great openings, especially the first one is my favorite. There is one for a show. This is just this flashback. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's this time show. I have Steins Gate. Speaking of time shows, that's another really good one. Kill la Kill. Yeah.
Kill la Kill. That had a pretty good opening.
Lucky Star is a really good opening.
I only know that because of the meme.
Yeah, dude, because it was mean because it's a great opening.
that was early memes. That was 2009 or whatever.
They make edits or they
the dances, the dancing. I literally have never seen the show, but all I know is just the stupid characters. There's 4 girls that are just no. I hear that, dude. I hear it. This has been burned in my head with 9-year-old me. Oh my gosh, dude, I forgot about that. Oh, it's so funny. Do you have a favorite opening from a show that you've never watched, I guess? Or haven't seen many episodes of?
Yeah, so I really, really, really should finish this series. I watched half of it. Serial Experiments Lane is one I really liked a lot. Another one, I'm trying to look through my list here. I'm pretty sure I've seen almost all of these. That's how I kind of knew of them. Had you asked me earlier, I definitely would have better answers because there are shows in my head that I definitely like the opening way more than the actual show, or I know of the opening because it's so famous or good and I never watched the show. I can't think of any, at least none that are, because all I'm referencing right now are what's shown on this playlist. Yeah, it says,
well, it's funny you mentioned that because that's actually how I got into Made in Abyss. Was I was recommended the opening for Made in Abyss, and the opening was so good I wanted to watch it.
I really am not I like the opening, but I'm not a massive fan of it because episode 1, they don't show the actual TV opening. They have the song Underground River play. Remember when they're pulling Rig out of the abyss, and it's just that collage to that
Spoilers!
OST?
I'm joking.
It's literally the first 3 minutes. Anyway,
I'm joking.
But they're pulling that's when they find Reg, the other cave person with
Cave dunker. That's what we're calling it.
I was thinking spelunker and like cave diver. It's like
Cave dunking. That's what it's about now. It's about cave dunking, guys. That would be great for the Made in Abyss parody if they ever made one.
I'm sure there's an abridged channel. Every anime has an abridged series.
Yeah, but when they're pulling Rig out of it's like the opening of episode 1, and I thought Underground River would have been the opening, but it's not. It's just an OST for just that scene. And it's so good. It's so much better than the actual opening, which is fine. It's just like a very stereotypical anime opening, and I was kind of hoping for something a little different.
I like the stereotypical anime opening.
I do.
I don't know.
You know, I like them all. It's good. Made in Abyss is not bad at any stretch of the matter. It's a good opening, but yeah. But no, because Underground River is just so atmospheric, and the way that they added
No,
in
it
the
is.
episode,
It is. I
was
like.
so cool. Like if that was the opening, it would have been so great. Now a lot of
what's a really good opening? Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro. It's cute.
Okay, hold on. So you guys are talking about movie
That's a movie,
openings.
though. That's a movie.
That's a
I know.
movie.
I'm cheating.
It confuses me.
I just thought of it.
Like,
I just thought of it.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you. I just sent you actually the Crown Handle opening. It's 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Ponyo, bro. Sorry.
So it is actually just an opening. It's funny because the Princess Principal Crown Handler movies are just like really long TV episodes.
Got it. Yeah,
they're like 3 times the length. I need to see your reaction to this.
Live reaction. All right.
Well, hold on. I can't play the music. It's copyrighted. Hello.
I mean,
Live reaction won't work.
Live reaction probably won't work. That's true.
This is already sick.
Do it after the podcast. We can't do it now. It all got copyrighted.
This reminds me a lot of the Baccano opening.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, sounds great, doesn't it? I love that everybody can hear what we're you guys are
Everyone can
listening.
totally hear it. Just overlay the music on top of this, everyone. It'll
wait,
work.
no.
Yeah.
Don't get Zeez copyrighted.
Regardless, all right, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing because it's gonna be a minute. If I'm truly
Yeah, it's gonna be way
focus on
too
it.
long, actually.
Well, if it's a minute and a half of me not talking and us all listening to this, like I can't like.
Nobody can hear it.
No one can hear it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Guys,
this
look up
silence
Princess
sounds
Principal
great,
opening
everyone.
too, and we'll
Can we
listen
have
to
a
it
minute and a half of
together.
the podcast, just be quiet so we can watch this. Viewers listening or listeners listening, just
So stupid, bro.
pretend like you're listening to something really cool.
Yeah. Just imagine. Use your imagination. Imagine it sounds really cool right now.
Guys, imagine the podcast is actually good. Imagine this video is good. Don't click off. Imagine it's good though. All right,
imagine
guys.
it's good. You must be imagining something really
imagine,
cool,
like, commenting
right?
and subscribing. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so stupid. But yeah, I think the opening's good. It's very. It's a good jam. It's a good
It
jam.
reminds me of both, like, it's kind of like that Persona style.
Yeah,
And
it is,
yeah.
exactly.
But it also reminds me a lot of the Baccano opening. I know. I think that should have been on my playlist. It probably got removed
Rip.
from YouTube. Man, you know what really sucks? Speaking of like YouTube removing things, and you guys were talking about soundtracks. Nintendo's like destroying of OSTs on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about the Checkpoint video, like the Donkey Kong country music that was like just all like Japanese text, and they called it like the checkpoint of the internet?
The checkpoint of the internet? What?
Yeah.
No, I don't know about this. Enlighten us.
I'm not sure. I know there was a really big channel. I think 2 big soundtrack channels a few years ago got taken down. It was like Brawl, BRMST, X3.
Yeah, I remember
exactly.
Brawl, BRMST. They had all the Mario and Luigi soundtracks. Those were all pretty hype.
And then also the original, I think Gilva Sunner is gone now too. I think. I don't actually know. Or at least they stopped uploading. I forget. But they took down a lot of the bigger music channels. And it was so funny that Siva Gunner, which is the parody of Gilva Sunner, which used to be called Giva Sunner with a fake L in it, they upload like fake versions of like video game soundtracks. They'll like they'll advertise it as like a video game soundtrack, but they'll make it something stupid. Like they'll put Fred Flintstone's theme instead. I love that channel so much. Like they have so many people working on it. It's so fun. It's literally just like your favorite video game soundtracks, except they just like mix in a stupid other like melody to it, and it's so funny. Like trying to guess what melodies they'll play next.
All right, for
Oh,
comments.
it sounds like
Actually,
that one channel I sent you where they just like used like the Wii instruments to play like random songs.
So for context on what I was talking about the checkpoint of the internet, I just sent you guys a YouTube short. Shocker. And this gives you basically all the information you'll need to like understand what I'm talking about. But there was a channel called like Tiaya777, and they were like a Japanese YouTube channel, and they uploaded like a bunch of stuff from Nintendo games, like soundtracks they really liked, with like really like nice backgrounds, and like 2012. And all of a sudden these people would find it, and people would just like they were called checkpoints, right? So you'd put like checkpoint July 2023, right? It'd be like, currently in my life, I just graduated from school, you know, I'm looking through all this kind of stuff. Or like someone would be like, you know, my dog
that's
just
really
died,
cool.
Or
that
like,
is cool,
No, people would just like update their life. And it was just like a whole comment section with like hundreds of thousands of comments of people like just talking about their life and like supporting each other. Yeah, and then Nintendo destroyed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Because copyrighted music.
Nintendo gonna Nintendo.
Yeah, God forbid a 15-minute video with like a pixel background of your music. Honest to goodness, it wasn't even that popular of a Nintendo game, and there's probably more people exposed to that game through that one video than like probably.
Dude, it's because Nintendo is so old-fashioned.
Well, the thing is, I think the most egregious thing is they could have left the video up, but just could have claimed the ad money from the video for themselves, which would have been totally acceptable. Like, I don't think anyone would have disagreed with that, and it would have still kept the video up.
There's like thousands upon thousands of like the same soundtrack uploaded to YouTube, and like Nintendo obviously doesn't have time to take them down, but like every once in a while I'll listen to like a theme and I'll realize, oh, that video that I listened to, like the theme is just gone. A good example of this is Fire Emblem Fates. There's like a DLC song with a very specific like instrumental track, and every time that instrumental is uploaded onto YouTube, it's like taken down like 3 months later. Always. Like sometimes you'll never be able to find it. It's so weird. It's weird they like specifically target that like one song. I don't know why. But you know, they just like progressively like at random will just take down a bunch of soundtracks.
Well, yeah, and you can't really find the soundtracks anywhere else, can you?
Did you guys ever see
really.
that?
That's why I download a lot of them.
Yeah. Did you ever see that edit someone made where it was a tweet that like Nintendo Corporation America sent out, and it was like, what is your guys' favorite Nintendo soundtracks? Like, and tell us why, right? And then people like did all these like, it was just tons of like, you know, Zelda, all those kind of soundtracks, and they give like wonderful explanations of like what it means to them, all that kind of stuff, right? And then it was like this edit, it was like dun 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 dun, you know, that kind of stuff. And then it was just like this collage of, it was just like removed from YouTube, removed from YouTube, removed from YouTube.
Yeah,
like it was a targeted attack,
dude.
So that YouTube, so that they could find out where people are uploading all this stuff, so they could remove it all.
Oh,
every
that's so
single
funny.
video got removed, like from that like reply list.
Dude, that's actually so
I don't
sad.
know if
It's
it
so
was
funny because like
actually
people would joke
targeted
about that.
or not, because I don't think Corporation America really does it. It's probably corporate in Japan that removes them.
No, Japan definitely would care a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's definitely funny that you say that, because like there's so many jokes like that. There's like, you know, people will be like, oh, what was your favorite Smash moment? It's like when you shut down the tournaments. It's just like, it's so funny when people just like really clap back against Nintendo and their ways, because it's like, you know, there's this poor social media person who's just like trying to be like, oh, hey, Nintendo, funny, right? We all love Nintendo. And it's like, yeah, you shut down our Smash tournaments. You hate us. You literally hate your community. It's like, it's just because they're old-fashioned, man. Like, literally, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but like, Nintendo didn't used to let you upload their content onto YouTube unless you were like signed up with their specific like partnership program.
Oh, I knew that. That was
for
something.
such a long time.
Yeah.
It was really, really stupid. I think in 2017 they finally got rid of it. I think it was then, which was nice because I started uploading gaming videos.
Yeah, it was like
in,
pretty
2018.
recently that they got rid of it. It was like kind of surprising how recent it was.
Yeah, it's like, how on earth are you as a small creator supposed to like deal with that? You just couldn't play any Nintendo games and like receive any monetization from it. I don't think they would block your videos, but like they would block it completely from monetization unless you were in their partnership program. And even then, I think they would still take a cut, which was really stupid. But thank goodness they don't do that anymore, because that was really, really dumb.
Nintendo should just make a Spotify account at this point and post all the OSTs on there.
Literally, like, I don't know why they don't do that. I think the Pokemon company does it a little bit, but like they don't really do it with any of the other soundtracks from any of the other games, which really sucks, honestly.
Or at least make them available. I don't know. I don't want this to just be harping on Nintendo, the podcast, though.
Yeah, especially since I would like to keep things open-ended with them to ever, like, if I can work with them someday, that'd be cool, like, as, like, an ambassador or something, which is why I've stayed away completely from modded content.
Right.
Because modded content is bad. yeah, Nintendo doesn't like modded content, so.
Can you give a little bit more context around them banning Smash tournaments? Wasn't it that they didn't want their game to be viewed as competitive?
It's a complex situation. I've actually like kind of been less and less in the Smash community, so I don't really know what like all what kind of like drama and stuff there is, because there's so much stupid stuff that happens in the community, and honestly, I kind of like distanced myself from that back in like 2020, and I just focused on like playing the game. But you know, they had like accusations of like competitive players or whatever, and you know, like Nintendo, I think it's just because like all the like grassroots tournaments, they really aren't like run as well as like Nintendo wants them to be. Like there's no security, you know, I feel like there's like could be like potential health violations, and I feel like as a general rule, the Smash community is just maybe vulgar, I guess is a good word to describe it. It's like very, like obviously there's a lot of good that comes out of it, but like I feel like it's not family friendly a lot of the time, which is like what Nintendo wants it to be. And again, it's also like they do prefer their games to not be like super competitive. They want it to be like open for everybody. And I know like the biggest most recent thing that happened with there was actually supposed to be, I think in 2022 winter, I think, or maybe no, I think it was the 2022 like December. There was supposed to be a World Championship tournament and also a Smash World Tour. One was connected to Nintendo, like, and Nintendo finally, for like once in their life, actually like started to create like a tournament or like a circuit or whatever, specifically like for Smash, and it was pretty cool. But then there was another tournament that was like held in the same like majority, I guess, or like it was like held like the same esteem as like this other one that Nintendo was a part of, but Nintendo wasn't a part of the other one. And there was like this whole chaotic thing that happened, and basically at the end, both tournaments got shut down, and like the Smash community actually like that like broke it. So many of the esports teams like are, you know, dropping their Smash players. One of the biggest things that used to happen, which was called Summit, it's like a Smash tournament where all the top players get invited to. That's gone because they can no longer like keep it up. It's just it literally like cracked the community like in half, and like I think it really did like kill Smash. Basically, it's definitely not dead or anything, but like it killed the momentum of Smash like so hard, because it looked like it was supposed to be a huge grand thing, and then Nintendo, with a lot of other miscommunication with a lot of other people, to my knowledge, I only watched like a couple videos on this for people like talking about the whole situation, but it basically just like really broke the Smash community, which is kind of sad. You know, to hear about, especially since I've always wanted to go to a tournament one day. I'm not like super competitive in the game anymore. I do play more for fun nowadays, but you know, I think rocking up to a tournament and just having some fun could be a good time, especially if you went with like a friend or something. I don't know. It's just kind of sad to hear about, I guess.
Now, is it just Ultimate or Melee or older games? Because I know like Melee tournaments, don't they use just like the modded version anyways for that? So like it's not even I'm sure Nintendo has nothing to, or wants nothing to do with it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They hate mods. There's a mod for Melee called Slippy, which like pretty much reduces all the end lag online. It's specifically just for online. And I think there is a modded version that they have for offline tournaments as well. I forget exactly what it is, but Nintendo doesn't want that. They like say no mods. But like when it came to like those tournaments, I think it was for both Smash and Melee. And like, you know, that destroyed, like Melee is obviously always going to be there because they've been around for so long, but like it really killed a lot of like Smash Ultimate's like hype and momentum.
Does Nintendo have any say in it though? Like literally, if people just set up a tournament outside of their jurisdiction and they just so happen to be playing their game or a mod of their game, what can they do? I mean, all they can do is be like, don't do that, right? Can they actually shut down tournaments?
I don't really know like the
legality of it.
Logistics, yeah, like legality, like so much behind it. All I know is that like they get like cease and desists and whatnot from Nintendo. I guess like the TOs they could get fined if they continue running the tournament.
Well, yeah, I think also just because I think Nintendo wanted to distance itself from the community a bit, also from what it looks like, because as like what you said, they wanted to stay family friendly, and a lot of the community
is not
might not have been. And yeah, it was not pretty much.
Hungry box.
It was hard to maintain their image with the community doing whatever they wanted. They're like, we need to keep this clean. And so they were just like, all right, goodbye Smash, which is unfortunate. I actually would prefer if Smash still was a thing, but I mean, yeah, it's a hard situation all around. Did they do the same, like, what's Nintendo's relationship with, like, other, like, competitive games? Like, isn't there, like, competitive Fire Emblem or competitive Pokemon as well?
Yeah, well, competitive Pokemon is ran by the Pokemon Company, and competitive Pokemon is actually very friendly to people, for the most part. I think they do have, like, some silly rules situations sometimes, but for the most part, it's, like, really, really friendly, because they enjoy, like, having, like, a competitive scene. But the competitive scene is also mainly controlled by, like, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, so it's very family-friendly, you know? It's very controlled and very, very professional, as opposed to Smash tournaments, which are very grassroots and basically just ran by, like, you know, a handful of people that just want to have, like, a fun tournament. So it's very different with how they're run. But I do think one very interesting thing that happened with a Splatoon tournament, I believe, I don't remember how exactly this ended, but basically when one of the Smash tournaments got shut down by Nintendo, a lot of people changed their Splatoon in-game names to, like, save Smash or, like, bring back Smash, like, bring back this tournament. And I think either Nintendo canceled the Splatoon tournament or, like, literally blocked everybody who had a name like that.
Yeah.
And, like, it was crazy, dude. It was like the censorship was crazy. It's like all these users are trying to, like, be like, hey, you know, this is what we care about. And Nintendo had to, like, censor it or, like, block it. I forget exactly how it worked, but it was very interesting with, like, how hard they censored that. But I think, like, definitely when it comes to Pokemon, that is definitely, like, the most open one for, like, competitive tournaments and whatnot. Everything else, though, they really just don't seem to care. It's just not worth their time, I guess, which is sad because literally, if they weren't so old-fashioned, they could be getting a lot of attention, like, from a competitive scene for their games. Because a competitive scene keeps a game alive.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Long after the game has been published, there's going to be people that are going to be doing it.
Like literally Melee, bro. That's the perfect example. Like Melee. People
Melee's
still play
still
Melee.
around.
That game is like what, 20 years? Not 20 years. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how old it is. It's pretty old.
I think it actually is around 20. Let's see how old Melee is. No, it'll make me feel
you
old
can look
now.
it up real fast. It's funny that you brought this up, RaceCar, with Hungry Box because you know you saw that Emblem
Yeah, that's
video.
the only reason I know Hungry Box.
Yeah. He's a top Melee player. He plays in Ultimate now. He streams a lot. I think he's probably like the biggest like Smash guy that most people know about now. And it's funny because he's been like the main guy right now who's like trying to like keep Smash alive.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty inspiring to see like what he does. Literally, dude, like it's crazy to think about like his like journey through Smash, honestly.
Hey, so I pulled it up. Do we have any guesses?
To Melee's age?
Oh,
Yeah, Melee's age.
I think so. It's a GameCube game. I think it came out in 2002, so I'm gonna say 21 years old.
That's tough. Let's see. Well, I know there's no Wind Waker content. Wind Waker came out in 2003.
Just say a number.
I'm gonna say it came out in 2001.
We have
So
a winner.
22.
It came out in December 3rd, 2001 for the US, for the North America
Hey!
release, and
Well,
November
hold on.
21st
Let's
for
go.
the Japan
Hold
release.
on. It's 21 and a half right now then, right? So
Yeah,
technically...
it's 2001, so...
you
Oh, no,
got-
it's
I
22.
I said an age. Z said a year. So we're
I
both
guess
you
you're
said
both right.
2002.
Yeah, you said 2002. I mean,
Yeah, I thought you
he's
said
not
2002.
totally wrong.
I said I think it came out in 2000. I'm just gonna
The
guess. it came out in
EU and
2002.
Australia release was in 2002. The
Oh yeah, see, I was thinking of the Australian version, guys. It's a common mistake.
the Japan and North American release came out at the end of 2001, so November 21st and December 3rd, respectively. So yeah, it is pretty much over 20 years old at this point, which it's as old as we are.
Ayo.
I actually kind of cheated there a little bit. I didn't look it up or anything, but I actually knew that Fire Emblem Binding Blade came out in 2002. And the funny story about that is the protagonist Roy actually showed up in Smash before it came
Really?
out.
Wow.
He showed up in Melee before his game even came out, which is pretty funny.
Roy in there. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So when I knew that came out in 2002, I was like, maybe it came out in 2001. So when you said 2002, I was like, I'll just say 2001 to like mix it up. But I guess I was right.
So that's really interesting that you say that because so people who had Melee and unlocked Roy had like no idea who he was.
Yeah, I mean, in the West, like we didn't know who Marth was because he was
True.
from the first game.
Yeah.
We had no idea who Marth was. We knew who Ike was because like Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem, which is the game he's from, it was localized over here. But we had no idea who like Martha, because especially since they would always speak in Japanese. Like most people's first.
Yeah. Their ending when they'd win, they'd speak in Japanese. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that as well, because Nintendo actually released Marth's game. Finally, they localized it like a couple years ago for a Fire Emblem anniversary. And the trailer that they did so was like it started off with people playing Melee, and people were being like, "Oh, who the heck is this sword character named Marth?" And then Nintendo was like, "Oh, well, now you could play Marth's game." It was pretty funny because like that's what most people in the West, at least, their exposure to Fire Emblem, like myself included. I had no idea who Marth and Ike were from Smash Bros. Brawl, but that's how I learned about Fire Emblem.
Interesting.
What other games did Smash popularize? Like, for instance, I know Earthbound is definitely one of them.
Yeah, Earthbound definitely. I was gonna just say Earthbound.
Kid Icarus for sure. Kid Icarus definitely.
Wii Fit, obviously.
Fit, bro, that character needs to go, bro. Oh my god.
Minecraft, actually, I think got popular. Right? Minecraft got popular.
I think I showed everyone, but there is still
Ice Climbers.
There's still like a copy of Wii, like a brand new copy of Wii Fit that you can get official from Nintendo with the Wii Balance Board on Amazon right now. I think it's still there. There's one left, exactly one.
Why do you know about this?
I was trying to see if I could get a Wii Balance Board for reasons.
Ah, I see. So you actually wanted to like program stuff with that in the past. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, can I make the meme real? Can I program something with the Wii Balance Board in real life other than Wii Fit? And I was like looking online, and there was like Wii Fit Plus, one copy left, brand new, Nintendo. I was just like, what? There's still exactly one copy of Wii Fit sitting in a warehouse somewhere?
It could just be refurbished as well.
No, it was brand new.
Really? Okay. That's interesting, honestly.
If you're watching the Zeez podcast and you want to nab the last copy of Wii Fit, go do that.
Too bad I already got it. No, I'm just kidding.
There's only one copy left? Is it that rare?
Yeah. It's like the complete edition.
That's on Amazon. You know, there's probably tons on eBay, but they're all used.
Yeah, I mean, it's the brand new version. Yeah, it's Wii Fit Plus with Wii Balance Board. $193.11. Only one left in stock. Order soon. From visit Nintendo's store. So yeah, it's brand new. So whoever wants the last brand new copy of Wii Fit,
cough up that Mulongs, man.
You gotta get it. Okay, but we have been going on for quite a while. Do any of you have any last things you want to talk about before we end off?
So I just kind of wanted to ask what this is about. Zeez, I'm looking at the podcast funny moment Google Share document that we have here. And on title 2 of yours, you say glorification of suffering. What does that mean?
Oh, that's right. I feel like that's a bit of a deeper topic. I guess we can go a little bit longer. We're probably gonna hit 2 hours. This might be the longest podcast. Yeah, so this is something that I thought about a lot, just like seeing like trends and like the glorification of like suffering or like stuff like that. For example, throughout high school, you would hear this a lot where kids would be like, "Oh, this is how many hours of sleep I got today." And like basically whoever was the winner would be the person who got the least sleep, which is like, it's like the least healthy you are, the cooler you are, basically. It's weird.
Like, do you think it's like just an extension of like hustle culture? Would you say?
Probably, but it's like literally like the more you suffer, I guess, like it's like glorified, you know? Like I know back when we were younger, like we would always talk about like, oh, how much sleep we got per night when we were in high school. And you know, I barely slept throughout high school. I would sleep like an average hours of like, I would say like 3 hours. That was my average throughout high school. It was pretty bad. Now it's like 6 to 7. But you know, I barely slept throughout high school, and it was like people were always like, "Wow, that's crazy, dude." It was like very unhealthy to like not like to sleep only 3 hours, but people thought that was like cool. It was like, oh, like the more you were, or like the less you were sleeping. Sorry, it was like that was like the competition. You know, people would be like, "Oh, I only got 6 hours of sleep." It's like, "Oh, you think that's bad? I only got 5. Oh, you think that's bad? I only got 4. Oh, you think that's bad? I didn't sleep." It's like,
right.
It's like people always one-upping each other, like to be more unhealthy. It's like whoever's suffering more gets like the crown of the winner. Here you go. You're the one who didn't sleep. Congrats on making unhealthy choices. Like, I don't know why people do it. And there's like other things that applies to, right? It's just something that I kind of notice, especially like throughout high school. I don't really do this anymore, but I know in high school I was definitely like, wow. So because I'm the one who's sleeping the least, that means I've got to be like doing the most with my time or whatever. But no, it's just because like I just stayed up late playing video games. Because I would just like work on so much stuff and then just play video games in the night.
Do you think it's because, not to say that this is always the case, and it's not ever wrong to talk about like your suffering, but do you think it's because people like to glorify being a victim of something?
Well, I view it slightly differently. I mean, I think it's because it's part of the, like, people glorify work, and so, and if, especially, like, but people don't glorify work that isn't perceived as being hard. So if you're working and you're suffering, that's like bonus points. Like, you're working hard, and people glorify that like extra much. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, you know, where it's like, oh, whoever has it harder, you know, it's just people always one-upping each other. Where, you know, like the phrase, oh, you think that was bad? Try this.
Yeah,
this is bad. You know, it's like that whole thing. It's like, why are you guys competing over who can suffer the most? Like, why is that like a thing? It's so odd. It's so bizarre. But I guess Emmy kind of had a really good insight there with like the hustle culture and like how people perceive like whoever works harder. It's like, do you really need to like only have 3 hours of sleep or like not sleep at all for your work to mean more? Like, no, it's stupid. But I still see people like, you know, online talk about this stuff where it's like, oh, you think that's bad? Try this.
Well, yeah, I think it goes back to a like performative work culture, like where like you gotta act like you're working even if like it doesn't feel like you're working or you're not. And like, and one way to do that is to just be chronically sleep deprived, because usually people are sleep deprived when they're trying to meet deadlines. And so if you're chronically sleep deprived, it must mean you're working really hard, right? Which nowadays I don't actually view that as being like actually like hardworking. It just means you're really bad at managing your time because you're always running up against deadlines. That, or you just can't, or you have insomnia.
Right, or it's like, you know how older generations will be like, oh, you younger kids have this nowadays. Back in my day, this is how we had to do things.
Yeah, that's a great example.
It was like, yeah, it's like...
It was not better back then. It was much worse. The fact that, you know, we have more reliable transportation or better air conditioning or anything, you know, that makes our lives generally better.
Yeah, or it's like, you know, how you hear like the stories about your grandparents having to like walk through a snowstorm to get to school or whatever. It's always those things.
Or corporal punishment is a big one that they like to brag about.
It's like the more you suffer, the more valid your opinions and work is, basically. It's like that's how it's perceived. It's so weird, dude.
Well, I think it's a post hoc justification of your own suffering, because like if your own suffering wasn't necessary, then it makes you really question, and it makes you kind of depressed, right? It makes you be like, well, then why did I have to walk through a snowstorm if it was totally unnecessary for life? No, it must have been necessary. It made me a better person, obviously, and I feel like you're just rationalizing it after the fact rather than thinking about it the perspective of yourself before you went through it and whatnot. Like, I feel like, yeah, going through a snowstorm can make you more resilient, but like it's not the only thing that can make you more resilient. It's probably not the preferred way that one could become more resilient either. Like, there's plenty of other positive activities you could do that would make you more resilient, for example.
For sure. It was just something I wanted to bring up, I guess.
One of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Drifter, he made a video called like anti-intellectualism, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I remember this as a video from a long time ago. And basically it was kind of exactly what we're kind of talking about, not necessarily with suffering, but like the glorification of like not caring about school, or like not caring about, I guess, learning things, or I don't know, like people will, he was making examples of like, he gave like multiple real world examples of people who like glorified how little they read or how little they cared or how much they cheated on assignments or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, like glorified ignorance.
Right,
yes,
yeah, where they, you know, they like to tout how little they know or how, you know, it's strange.
Well, it's pretty much just anti-intellectualism, but yes.
I don't know how you could ever be proud of not knowing something.
Well, I think a lot of people view not knowing things as like a lot of people think that when you learn things, you like become less worldly. Like you become less like, you get less street smart, so to speak. Actually, this was something a lot of people perceived me as. They thought, so like a lot of people thought that I was like, oh, I know a lot of math, therefore like I was that automatically made me a person that was less interested in worldly things, which at the time was kind of true, but I would say that that's not necessarily like the case with everyone that learns a lot of things. Learning more doesn't necessarily mean that you're less practical or something. It's just like, oh, I would totally trust like someone who has experience versus knowledge. It's not like one or the other, but a lot of people see it as like a trade-off where if you have a lot of knowledge, that must mean that you're not interested in actually relevant real-world experience, and that's not at all true.
Right. Well, I think that does kind of apply to me, at least, because all my time is invested to YouTube, and I don't go outside as much as I should. So I definitely have like less street smarts when it comes to like YouTube know-hows. But I get what you mean. It's definitely not just like all or nothing, for sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, as I've gotten older, I've kind of like I've developed more of an appreciation for gaining experiences for different things, and so I feel like they're not like. It's kind of like they're complementary to each other. They're like they help you do different things, but like being good at one doesn't mean that you have to give up the other. It's not like some skill tree where you only have like a finite number of skill points. You're like, oh, I can only have intelligence or wisdom. I can't have both. And I'm just like, no, you can. You just need to develop both out. So there's that definitely in terms of the skill thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. When I went back to that victim thing. You see this kind of with there's a subreddit called Fake Disorder Cringe, and they'll highlight like TikToks of people who like pretend they have like altars, or like they'll highlight moments where like they'll like pretend to faint, and you could see them like obviously like sort of catching themselves or like tensing up as they fall, to because they're about to fall and hit something, right? So it's just
that's
right where they glorify like. Having an issue, like they almost make it like a game, right? Where I have all these altars, or I have this is what my voices say, or whatever. This is my wolf altar, right, or something like that. And it's like there are people with like actual disorders like that, and maybe some of them are true, but some of these are just so cringy and out there, and are so like characters, you know what I mean? That I don't know. It takes away from.
Very ableist, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I know people with actually that are like this, and it's not necessarily like something that you want to make like into something that's desired. It's just part of everyday life. It's like you're being left-handed. So I do see a problem with like glorifying it in that respect, right?
Yeah, no, they do this a lot with autism too, where they'll be like, oh, look at this is like the list of tisms I have, all this kind of stuff. And it's like really like quirky and sometimes very normal things. Like, oh, I sometimes when I bite my nails, I smell my fingers or something like that. Like, like everyone like smells, like it's just part of interacting and like hygiene checkup. It's like a human. Right. It's like, yeah, when you scratch your head, sometimes you smell your hand, right? Because it's like, oh, does my scalp smell? Like, it's just weird stuff like that, right? I don't even think that's inherently autistic or anything like that. It's just...
No, that's just to check if you need a shower,
right,
bro.
Yeah, no, it's like, what? Do you smell your armpit too? When you scratch your armpit, do you smell it? Like, yeah, of course you do, because... Sometimes that smells and it shows like your hygiene level, right?
Well, yeah, you probably don't do that in front of other people. I feel like
do you cup your hand over your mouth to smell your breath sometimes, like before you talk with people? Like I do. So
before I talk to people, but
I do that especially when I go out somewhere.
Yeah,
but you definitely don't want to have smelly breath.
Yeah, definitely. Like I do that. I feel like it's stuff people don't talk about because it's
embarrassing.
A bit gross.
Maybe. Yeah,
it's a bit gross. It's like hygiene stuff. You don't talk about cleaning yourself, but like everyone does it. It's not like.
No, there was this wonderful like starter pack online called like the Self-Diagnosed Autistic Starter Pack from r/starter packs, and it was just so funny because it was like all these like inherently very normal things that like. It's like just being like introverted and like they know of like online culture, and like I don't know, they had some great examples of like of things that like nearly everyone does but is viewed culturally as maybe autistic, so people will just prescribe themselves as autistic. It's weird. And then people that do that and they'll self-diagnose themselves instead of getting actual diagnosis, again, like I don't want to say it's the victim culture sometimes, but sometimes they do like put it as brownie points. Like they'll put it in their bio, like maybe it's important, maybe sometimes put in your bio, but like you know, it's just
I'm not exactly sure if it's victim culture, though. I think like it's more of like, I mean, I think a part of it is just that we as a society are having more awareness of mental issues.
That's true,
Unfortunately,
right?
that also means we have more people that have a very vapid awareness of mental issues, like a very surface level understanding of what autism is. Like some people literally just think autism equals quirky. And
that's my point. Yeah, exactly. And then they like glorify it in a sense, which it's not wrong to glorify normalizing autism by any stretch of the imagination, but it's putting unrealistic expectations out there, I guess.
For sure. And I think like the people who like completely impersonate it because they just have, I just don't understand, I guess, like why people do it. Is it like, it's probably just for attention. I guess that's all I can think about. Is like, why else would you falsify it?
Well, I mean, why would you make videos of it if it's not for attention? Like, videos are inherently something you make if you want to call attention to something, because you're putting it out there.
It's like clout for their character, like themselves.
Well, awareness not necessarily like you're trying to like make other people. You're trying to get other people's attention. So yeah, I guess it is just attention. Yeah, I guess I just used the wrong word.
No, it's fine.
There's that. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's also just like we have like a lot of focus in society about like being unique or wanting to be like wanting to actualize some sort of uniqueness about yourself that sets you apart from everyone else. You see this a lot in young adult fiction, actually. This is a very big trend in young adult fiction, where you're like all the main characters are like hyper unique and quirky, and there's something that sets them apart from everyone else. I'm like hammering through the young adult fiction and tropes right now, but like I feel like that has promoted somewhat of an unhealthy message with a lot of people, especially as they're growing up, because like it makes it look like you kind of need to be that way when like you should just be actualizing yourself. I don't know, or maybe this is just me, is like I'm already old and I'm just being like kids these days.
Yeah. By the way, that self-diagnosed autism starter pack, I put it in our Discord chat here.
Oh no.
Let me know how you feel. I mean, like, now you'll understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'll get those up on screen. I definitely understand.
I think people who are online know exactly what we're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
There's actually a joke about this on Twitter.com. It's like a filter or whatever, where it's like, it's literally just like it's like a Mad Lib, basically. It's like you just say, these people who do this are this. And it's like you can just fill in anything with like those 3 blanks. Like I don't know. Tall people are I don't know. Or tall people who like tea are stupid. And it's like that's gonna get you like 1 million views. And like just all you have to do is replace like each thing is like, now you can say short people who run fast are extremely awesome. And it's just like, or it's like any other thing. You know, it's just like, it's such a Mad Lib, bro. And it feels like it just applies to anything. And because it's such like a normalized thing that it'll just get like 1 million likes out of nowhere. It's really silly.
Yeah, I do also feel like there is the flip side of this. There's like the people that like, there's a lot of people that still don't think autism is real. And I feel like a lot of this is not helpful for that in that regard. Yeah. Like in terms of helping other people understand what it is. It's a very confused message. I will say one of the words on here, I think it's, can I say one of them or?
Sure, go ahead.
It says neurospicy. I actually have heard neurodivergent people say that before. It's more of a joke though. It's not like an actual term people use.
I've actually never heard the term before.
It's a joke. It's supposed to be like, there's neurotypical and neurodivergent. And so some people, I've heard someone say neurospicy. As a joke. I
see.
I wouldn't probably. It's not a everyday term, and I think it's just a joke. But yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting topic that you brought up, Zeez. I'm glad that we got to get to this one.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. Actually, it's funny that like it took RaceCar mentioning my own thing that I wrote down. I just forgot about it, bro.
It's okay. I didn't mention my thing either. We can always save it for next time.
Absolutely.
For sure, there'll be plenty more podcasts. But yeah, anything else? Either of you want to say?
Yeah, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to The Little Rookie.
Oh, the Little Rookie! Yeah, because he's not here today. R.I.P. the
That's
little
true.
rookie. He was supposed. I
That's
think
true.
we invited him, didn't we? But he couldn't make it.
Yeah, we did.
We did, yeah. I hopefully he can come on sometime next week. I don't know. I'm trying to just like figure out the scheduling and whatnot. That's why some of these podcasts I like uploading these on Sundays, but with multiple people, scheduling does get harder. So if these can't always be out on Sunday, I apologize for that. But
What a terrible
we'll aim for
content
Sunday
creator.
when we can. Sorry, Emmy. Let me just
This is
unsubscribe
why
right now.
I'm not even subscribed to you. This is why I'm not subscribed to Z's 5G3.
So hold on, comment on that, Z's here. So let's say, I work and oftentimes I have weekend plans. So sometimes usually a random evening will be open or the weekend. I mean, more often than not, I think more people are free obviously on the weekends to record. Would it be better to almost move your general upload date from outside of Sunday onto like a weekday?
Potentially, I could look into it. I just thought Sunday would be a really good day because it's honestly, for me at least, it's probably my most free day,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's the day when I have like the most free time out of the week. So
Interesting, because I listen to podcasts when I'm busy, right?
Yeah, most people do that because if you look at. Actually, I was reading through a lot of the comments on that video.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to be listening to your podcast while they're doing work, which is
Yeah.
not what happens on Sunday. So.
They listen to podcasts while at church.
wow. No, I could think about it. But it's just, I just thought Sunday would be a good day just because it specifically worked for me. But now that you say that, it could be a good time to move it.
Yeah, a lot of people are at church on Sunday.
I think if I were to move it, it'd probably be like Wednesday. I think middle of the week would be like a pretty good day, maybe.
Yeah, that would be a good day.
It's like halfway through the work week. So I don't know. I could see it. Or I could upload it on a Friday so people get those awesome Friday Z's content. End of your week with Z's podcast. Let's go, baby. All right. Anyway, we've been going on for way too long. This is the first podcast to cross over 2 hours. So new record. Yippee. At least I think.
Well, we have two different people on today, so I feel like it makes sense.
Easier.
That's true. And when we get the little rookie, 3-hour podcast income. All right. Well, that's where we'll leave it. I guess. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep.
I do appreciate it as always. We'll be back next week with yet another podcast. So look forward to that. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all later. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.